Hey guys, welcome to podcast number 6. We've made it for another week. I'll cut straight to the chase. We're going to talk about how I got fired from a cruise ship in this podcast. But first of all, let's just spend a couple of moments to think about the surroundings of where I am and also give you some news and announcements. So firstly, I'm sat not in my car this week. I'm actually sat upstairs in the loft. I'm feeling a little bit middly today, so I'm not like really excitable. I'm not feeling low. I'm just feeling kind of in the middle, and it's been incredibly busy. So, in terms of like news, what I've been up to, I've basically been recording lots of interviews for the upcoming gambling series, and it's been really fun to do actually, to actually record these interviews, to plan the questions. Then to give the interviews, interviewed an ex-professional, a Premier League football player this week, just gone. So that was very interesting. I was a little bit nervous when you do the interviews. I don't know about you, but I always think to myself, oh, it'd be quite easy, interviewing, absolute doddle, wouldn't it? You just sort of have a conversation and you just ask some questions. But my word, it's been really, really tough. And also trying to kind of gauge it. Is this just a conversation? Is this like an interview? So been looking at editing them as well, and my word, editing is tough because I want to kind of make it, I want to kind of condense as much stuff as possible into an interview for you to kind of draw value from, really. So anyway, my head is just I've basically just been sat in front of the computer screen, and I've just been trying to edit and move things around to make it kind of concurrent and stuff like that. Anyway, all of this stuff is probably for you not that interesting, but for me right now it's just really like, oh my god, my brain is like mush. Anyway, so that's kind of the main sort of lot of news I've been up to, or to give you. The other news as well, I've got good news and bad news. Well, that was the good news, that we've got an upcoming podcast series. The bad news, well, more for me than you. Sorry, I'm already feeling like this is like David Brent, There's good news and there's bad news. Some of you will be getting fired. No, basically, I've got to go back to work. Guys, 1st of June, time off from work is over. I've got to go back into school on the 1st of June after half term. As the year 10s are back. So I'm a teaching assistant, for those of you that don't already know. So I've got to actually go back to work, and I'm a little bit gutted, to be honest with you, because I was quite enjoying doing these podcasts and doing these videos. So you might see, I think the podcasts will be all right. Like, they're quite straightforward to kind of plan, record and edit. Videos, on the other hand, we might see me just doing some more kind of like simple edit vlogs or whatever, but I'm a little bit like, oh, for frig's sake, I've got to go back to bloody work, I don't want to go back to work. Oh dear. Anyway, enough of me and my thought processes. On to today, and we're just going to have a bit of a light one, actually. One other news and announcement, sorry, before I forget, is I'm going to do an upcoming podcast about my refereeing days, and I'm going to invite you, dear listeners, to basically, can you come up with any questions that you've got? I mean, I've got a ton of stuff that I can talk about. How I climb the ladder, not very high, but fairly high, but not that high. Stories of managers, clubs, referees. Like, I've got lots of things to talk about, but if you've got anything in particular that you want me to ask, and you can go as silly as you want, I don't really mind. I'm pretty kind of an open book. Just get in touch with your questions. Anyway, that brings me nicely on to today's topic of how to get fired from a cruise ship. Because talking of silly questions, I asked, again, dear listeners, I'd asked you to get in touch with some questions about how I got fired from a cruise ship, things that sprung up, and there were some very silly questions. So, we're going to dive in. I'm going to try and sort of give you a little bit of background before I actually tell you the story of how we got fired. I actually want to kind of give you a bit of background on like how I got the job, a little bit more about the cruise ship. People have asked, like, what was the food like? What did you actually, what's like a sort of an average day in the life like, basically. So I feel like this could be almost like a podcast series, or like it could be a YouTube channel in itself. But Anyway, let's just crack on. All right, so I want you to cast your mind back to 2018. I don't know if you remember it, but it was the summer that was really blooming hot in England. It was like boiling hot. So yeah, a couple of months prior to that, I think it was about March or April, a friend of mine who I played in the band with, Sam, he got in touch, and he'd been on the cruise ships around the Caribbean and whatnot. I think he'd been on the cruise ships for a good year or two, and he got in touch and he was like, "Dude, do you want to come and do a cruise ship contract in the summer, like during summer holidays, 5-6 weeks? I think it was 5-week contract actually. Are you up for it?" I was like, straight away, I was like, "Yeah, sounds good." Little bit apprehensive, always overthinking, always a little bit like, oh my God, am I going to be good enough? Because the thing is, prior to that, I'd been in a band, but I'd not played live, genuinely not played live in front of, a performance for 2 years. And it kind of linking a little bit with my gambling, but I was really, really down in the doldrums, at that point. So, like, massively lacking self-confidence. I was just like, yeah, okay. Obviously thinking, yeah, this is going to be amazing. So I didn't audition, because commonly, I can't get my words out, commonly, there we go, commonly, you have to audition, and luckily I didn't. So it's just obviously done on the recommendation. So usually what you need in terms of like credentials, you need to be, an accomplished musician. When I say that, basically the main skills really to be in a house backing band, because that's what we did, was you need to be able to sight read. So you need to be able to like read written music. So for example, they give you the charts and you have to be pretty good at sight reading. So seeing something for the first time, or seeing something for only an hour or two before you go on and perform it. So luckily I've done all my grades, got to grade 8, and I'm accomplished. I've done I do drum teaching and stuff. So it wasn't like I didn't think I was going to be bad, but it's just the whole confidence thing of like, oh my God, like I'm now going to get paid to do this. So a couple of other people have asked, like, what documents do you need to work? So in terms of documents for the cruise ship, like, you basically need like a seafarer's medical. It's exactly that. It's just a medical. You go to your doctors, and it's like a form, and it's just a medical. They take your height and ask you a few questions. That's quite straightforward. It does cost about 80 quid though, so a little bit annoying. Don't like really spending that much money. Oh my God, why am I laughing at myself? Right, basically, sorry, I've just got a list of questions. I'm just going to run through them. So what cruise liner was it? So cruise liner was P&O Ventura. It was a humongous ship, like humongous, absolutely massive. I don't know about. I should have looked up some facts. Sorry guys, I'm really lacking on the research front here today. But I think it was. Am I right in saying it was? I think 3,000 passengers and 1,000 staff, or was it 3,000 passengers, 2,000 staff, or 4,000? I don't know. Anyway, thousands of people. I mean, the thing was just ginormous, like ridiculous. It actually, like, we went to Norway on one of the stops, and it basically, it dwarfed this little town. You just felt so bad for this lovely little picturesque postcard Norwegian fjord town or village, and this thing was just dwarfing it. Like it was almost as big as a mountain. It was just insane. But yeah, so I mean, talking about that again, what countries did we visit? So basically we visited. So we went out from Southampton, and we'd always kind of come back and dock in Southampton. So anyway, so we started there, and then we went up to the Norwegian fjords, which was absolutely stunning. Probably in the coming weeks and months, I'll probably do like some footage from the cruise ship itself, because I've actually got a little bit of a few vlog entries and stuff. Anyway, so we went to the Norwegian fjords. We went to places like Bergen. We went to Flam. I think we went to a couple of other places. Like, absolutely stunning. It kind of felt a little bit like it was out of like Lord of the Rings or like New Zealand. The water was just crystal blue, crystal clear. And as I say, just a really nice place. Like, I would genuinely love to go there. I'd love to go there again. And I don't know, I'd love to go and like catch fish. It sounds a bit kind of stereotypical, but you know, just these little huts in the middle of nowhere in the fjords, just, you know, going out, catching some fish, eating it. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it? It'd be absolutely cracking. So anyway, getting a bit sidetracked, but we went to Norway, came back to Southampton, and then we basically went down to, so that was like a week. Then the passengers got off and we had a different set of passengers, new holiday. And then we did 2 weeks, like it was like a 2-week cruise. And we went down to Lisbon, Portugal. Absolutely, first time to Lisbon, absolutely loved Lisbon. Like, really nice place, loved it. Drugs are legal, apparently, not that I would know. And yeah, just like nice big beer. I can't remember what the beer's called. Is it Bock? Springbok or Bock? I can't remember. Rob Winstanley, if you listen, mate, you'd know because you go to Portugal a lot, and I'd get really jealous of your videos and pictures of you drinking really nice pints of beer by the pool. But anyway, so Lisbon was lovely. And then we went to other places like, so we sort of did like the Canary Islands. So we did your sort of Gibraltars, your Maltas, and your Tenerifes as well. Tenerife was a strange place because it was a bit run down, and like the sand was all black. It was just quite odd. Didn't really like that place, Tenerife. And then we went to Madeira as well, straight in for a Madeira cake, and that was lovely actually. Madeira was one of my favourite places. It's got loads of like orange terrace roofs and stuff like that, and it was very picturesque. There's a few pictures as well that, again, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen. I think I'm in like an orange sport t-shirt, and I was like halfway up a big like mountain or whatever. I think, don't quote me on this, I have to check this fact, but I think Cristiano Ronaldo is from Madeira. I think Portuguese island. You know, you heard it here first. Anyway, so yeah, we did sort of Portugal. And then obviously that sort of loop, and then we came back into Southampton. Back up via Lisbon, back into Southampton. By that point, we were fired. So yeah, we did about 3 weeks of a 5-week contract. We were then supposed to kind of repeat the same like pattern, go up to Norway, back down, and do like the Spanish Canaries and stuff like that. But we were also supposed to do like a booze cruise in Jersey and Guernsey. You look at that and I would think, like, what, it's only a weekend cruise? But literally, apparently, it's an absolute free-fall. I think I heard a rumour that apparently on one night, like in previous years, just one night, they took like 70 grand on one bar, just in people just like getting on a cruise and just having it large. Like, I just couldn't believe it, really. Anyway, so other questions. What was the cabin like? So the cabin, yeah, so basically like living quarters. So we were at the front of the ship in the sort of the staff quarters. So I shared a bunk bed. So it was a room, ensuite room, with Sam. He had the bottom bunk, I had the top bunk. A little bit annoying because I fell out of the bunk a couple of times. Probably because I wasn't that sober. Anyway, so that was a bit annoying. But no, it was good. It was all right. It had a TV, had a little ensuite. I mean, the ensuite was tiny, like a real small little shower and stuff. But they had a fridge and a little table and chairs. Again, if you followed me on Instagram, you've probably seen a few stories from this like a couple of years ago. But the room was all right, and we were like next door to Mark and Dave. Who were a couple of other musicians. Emily, who was our singer, she had her own private cabin. A little bit jealous because she had a double bed and she had a window. We didn't have a window, which was quite frustrating, quite weird. But yeah, and also a little bit annoying because it was quite rocky. You know what I mean? Like, boats obviously they are going to rock, but yeah, it was like the first week was proper like, oh my god, like you walk off the ship and your ears would be you'd be walking around and you'd feel like unbalanced. You'd feel like just drunk, just walking like off the ship. That was really very, very odd. I can't remember what they call it, but that was bizarre. That was just totally odd. And it took some getting used to. Yeah, definitely take your seasick tablets if you're going to go on a cruise ship. What food did we eat? Food. Now the food was amazing. Actually, the food was incredible. Basically, you would be able to go to the buffet. So we'd have a lanyard with our photo on it. So we could. It was basically like an all access areas sort of thing. We could go wherever we wanted. So we were very lucky because we could go onto the buffet where the passengers go to. So these things are just like it's just food. Like the thing, if you go on a cruise ship, you're gonna go there for the entertainment. You're gonna go there, yeah, okay, to travel to places. But the biggest reason I found with a lot of these passengers, just from like observing, was for the food. Like you don't have to cook, and there's just food at all times of the day. So for someone like me who loves eating, it was like friggin' heaven. I mean, like at the breakfasts, you could just have whatever you want. There was cereals, fruit. I mean, like full English. And the thing is, there's no limit. It's not like you just have to go up once. You can just go up as many times as you like. So that was quite tough because I would literally probably have 2 full Englishes most mornings. So just saying, which was pretty insane. And you can get an omelette made for you. That was pretty cool. And then lunch wasn't usually, you'd be off the boat by that point. But so anyway, lunch you could just go and help yourself. They'd obviously have like different themed days. Lunch was like I'd usually go to the swimming pool like on board and then have like a hot dog or a burger and chips or pizza by the pool. You're probably already picking up the food it's not very healthy. In fact, it's not healthy at all, to be honest with you. So, and another thing about the food was like it was quite annoying because, I mean, sorry to get into a bit of detail here, but I don't know if it's obviously to make sure all the passengers and all the crew and that are like, what's the word? Not to say decent, but like basically, okay, so I'll cut to the chase. Basically, you go to the toilet at least 3 or 4 times a day and it ain't solid, right? This shit is not solid. Like, I'm just telling you. And that's not just from the alcohol as well. Like, it's horrible. And in fact, that was one of the worst experiences of my life. Like, in terms of just going to the toilet all the time. And you're like, for God's sake, I just want to just do like a normal toilet visit. And I can't. And it was just I don't know what they put in the food, but friggin' hell. Like, and everyone said about it the same. Like, everyone said the same thing. I cannot go to the toilet properly. Like, I'm going all the time. So yeah, a little bit of a shitter from a cruise ship. Sorry, that was me then. I was trying to be funny then. I was going to say a bit of crap and realised there were so many kind of puns in that joke. So anyway, so yeah, and then in the evening it was really good because you could again they would do like themes. You could have like curry night. There would be like Chinese night. Lots of fresh fish, loads of meat. I mean, we're not talking like 5-star quality. I felt that Ventura was definitely like a bit of a budget kind of cruise liner. You know, it was obviously just like mass market, like let's get everyone on, as opposed to some of these like really exclusive executive cruise liners for like 50 people or whatever. But yeah, we had like we got to go into like the captain's mess or whatever, and it's very hierarchical actually in a ship as well. It's a bit like being in a friggin' army. Like there's loads of these like regiments and stuff. But yeah, we got to go into the captain's mess, and that was like really good food. So we would like often have like steak and chips. There'd be like no one in there, maybe a few of the dancers, a few of the the people that work. They've got like they wear freaking like white shirts and white trousers. Like they've got like I don't know what you call it. Those things on your sleeves or your shoulders, like like stripes on your shoulders and like hats and stuff like that. It was very like. You definitely felt they were above you. Do you know what I mean? They felt they were higher in the pecking order, and you were just like lower. It definitely felt like that. And actually, just to touch on that, the ship was. I've never seen such a divide of races in class, like class divide, and it's no exaggeration to say. And I mean this is not racist at all. Like every single cleaner was Filipino. Like literally all of them Filipino, so they would be really nice because they would be like they'd be like housekeeping, and they'd obviously do like we'd have all like clothes washed for us and stuff like that. But literally all the cleaners Filipino, all of them. Then all the waiters and the food staff, again, 99% of them all Indian. All of them were Indian. And then all of the passengers and all of the crew, again, pretty much all of them, and the captains and all that, all white. It was just like, bloody hell, have I gone back to the Titanic? Like, have we got, honestly, it did feel a little bit like colonial. Well, very colonial. It was just very, very odd. So that was kind of hard to get my head round a little bit, and stuff like that. Okay, right. I'm really conscious of time as always, and I've got like a load more questions that I could go through actually, but I think I'll probably answer them again, maybe in another podcast or like maybe another video series or something. Anyway, let's get onto the nitty gritty. Basically, how do we get fired? So, right. So let me tell you this. Right, the one thing is on a cruise ship, the booze in the crew bar is ridiculously cheap. Like, it is insanely cheap. I mean, it obviously goes hand in hand. You know, maritime workers. You know, if you think back to the pirate ships, like people that work on ships just get drunk. And I'm not just talking about like the people, again, lower down in the pecking order. I mean, I'm talking like everyone, all of the crew. Like on Mondays, they do like a bottle day. And basically, it was called bottle day. And on a Monday, there would be a huge queue. And you go up and you could buy a bottle of spirit for like £8, £10. And I'm not just talking like Glen's vodka. I'm talking like Grey Goose vodka. Really decent stuff. Like bottles of rum. I think it was limited to like 2 bottles each. But oh my god, it was just so cheap. Like a beer was like £1, if that. You had a card, and then obviously you like top up your card, and then you could just bleep the card. So it was really easy to spend money. I mean, I think my first week I ended up spending like £100. It was like, because you're just buying, just so happy. It's just like, yeah, here we are. It's just like a holiday, Obviously, if you being a musician, you've had a really good gig, you've come off the gig, and you're like, it's midnight, I just want to party now. So you just basically get drunk. So the booze was really, really cheap, and yeah, so it was quite booze related how we got fired. But to delve into that story a little bit, basically, and I'm sorry, this is now people are not gonna come out of this lightly, and I'll just tell it how it is. It's it's obviously my opinion, and I'm not saying I was an angel by any stretch of the imagination, but here we go. So yeah, basically the first couple of weeks, we had a singer, and unfortunately she received quite a few complaints, and yeah, basically was told, look, you're gonna have to leave. Like, you're gonna have to leave the ship. We've got loads of complaints about you, and we're gonna have to get a new singer in. So we were just like, oh my god, like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna get fired, or have we got to go and look for a new singer? I mean, it was a real kind of worry for us. And in fact, on a side note, I really genuinely wished there'd been like a fly on the wall documentary, because this honestly would have been such good viewing, so much drama, but like, oh, so much stuff in it. So anyway, so we were in Lisbon on the Wednesday, and we were then told, oh, hang on a minute, by like the entertainment manager, even though your singer's been fired, oh, by the way, she's got to come on, and she's going to do one last performance with you. And we were like, what? Like, I thought she was fired. So anyway, with that, we were in Lisbon on the Wednesday, and during the afternoon, basically we docked in Lisbon and went and just got horrifically drunk. Like, yeah, I mean, we're not just talking like just a couple. It was pretty, not horrifically drunk, but like it was an afternoon session, should we just say? Anyway, the one thing about on a cruise ship, if you're going to be performing, you've got to be punctual, because I think a lot of it is to do with like opening up the bars, having a bit of entertainment at the bar, and then obviously it attracts people in and they spend money, and that's how the crews make a profit. Anyway, we get to 7:30. We're on at 7:45. You always get there 15 minutes before. We get there at 7:30. Emily's there. Oh yeah, well, just said her name, but yeah, Emily's there. I feel like if you're listening to this, Emily, like, I'm sorry, but I'm just sort of telling it how it is. Like, anyway, whatever. But anyway, Sam turns up, and I was pretty sober. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really drink that much, but the rest of the boys, they certainly tucked in. Anyway, Sam turns up and we're like, fuck, where's Sam and Mark? You know, where are they? Where are they? So we bell them up because there's like a phone. So we phone directly to their room. No answer, no answer. And we're just like, oh shit, oh my God, this is horrific. This is horrific. And yeah, basically we ring them up again, like after three or four times, or however many times. Anyway, they're like, shit, yeah, we got a gig. Oh fuck. Anyway, they come down. We're at this point, we're like, fucking hell, it's like 7:43. We've got the guest entertainment man, you know, the manager looking at us, giving us daggers, and it's just, this is not looking good. Anyway, the boys come down, you know, ties hanging off. Like, I think one of the lads didn't have their socks on. They've walked onto the stage rather than round the back, like onto the stage. You know, there's a lot of swearing. You fucking idiot. You fucking idiot, especially on fucking time, and all this sort of stuff. And anyway, I mean, there's a few passengers, so there's not that many, but there's a few passengers like raised eyebrows, like, what are we watching? But I also think by the same token, they were probably thinking, this is great entertainment, because even I was like, this is amazing, you know? Obviously pretty embarrassed by it, but I mean, it's one hell of a story. Anyway, we start off with like what we're going to kick off with, and we have iPads to read, so we like read the charts. I mean, we'd forgotten half the iPads. One of them wasn't working. Sam was like trying to just forever just turn his iPad on. It was just, and the ship was swaying by this point. We just sort of left Lisbon. It was like, you can imagine that, you know, the big horn that goes off. And anyway, so we open up with Uptown Girl, and Emily was like, yeah, do you mind if I film this, you know, for a bit of footage for like the show reel when I get back? We're like, well, not really, but yeah, okay, fine. Anyway, basically we start Uptown Girl, if you know it, and it's in the wrong frigging key. It's so out of tune, it's unbelievable. So it's just this absolute car crash of a performance. You were just like, this is, it's just, oh my God, it was just, everything about it was just wrong. And we're going, no. I can't remember if we carried on, if we stopped. Anyway, by this point, I'm already thinking, this is not going well. Anyway, we plod through like the first set, and we're getting towards the end of the first set. And by this point, as I say, they're swearing on stage. I mean, you know, we all just look worse for wear. It's just terrible. And we're playing Holding Out for a Hero. Now, me on the drums, like, it's really fast, a real fast workout. It's really tough, and like, I'm mimicking loads of hand movements because there's loads of fast hi-hat taps and stuff. Anyway, we're getting towards the end and we keep missing the exit. You know, Dave's looking at us because he's the band leader, the keys player, and he's all looking at us going, right, yeah, we're going to finish, yeah, finish, and we're going to finish now. And then every time we kept finishing, one of us would carry on playing. So like the whole band would cut out and I'd be still going on the drums. So, you know, very slowly but surely everyone would sort of join back in and we'd be back playing. and then it'd be like, right, no, yeah, okay, this time, this is what we're going to do. Yeah, okay, cool, yeah, going to finish. We'd all finish and then there'd still be like the guitar playing. So, oh, for fuck's sake, it was just so come back and play again. Anyway, by this point, it's horrific. And in the sound booth at the back, they've like the managers have come down and they're just looking at us going, cut. Anyway, one thing led to another. There's much more to the story, but the nuts and bolts of it were, yeah, we got fired basically after that performance, that car crash of a performance. We got pulled in the next morning. Yeah, we were fired. So maybe one day I'll tell you the full story. If you're a close friend, I think you do know the full story. But I'll leave it there actually because I don't want to get people into too much trouble. And you know, I consider them my mates. So yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of it. I mean, as I say, I feel like I could go on. I feel like I could talk to you a little bit more about like an average day in the life. Like I've not actually told you anything about like what the music was like, the performance. I've not even told you like what the dancers were like or what we actually had to do for work or like the training and stuff. But that's certainly been a bit of a glimpse into how to get fired from a cruise ship. So there we go, guys. Anyway, thanks for listening to that sort of story time-esque podcast. I'm just flicking through. I think next week I might be having a guest on the podcast. Possibly next week. But yeah, just a reminder, if you can get your questions in about refereeing, Maybe you've got some more questions about the cruise ship. Maybe we'll have to do like a follow-up podcast, who knows. But anyway, you've been listening to Podcast 6. Thank you very much and good night.